What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video, and today we are covering the Justice League Dark backup story in Justice League number 59. Now, this story is written by Ram V, and yeah, guys, it's a really interesting story that sets up a lot of things to come. So yeah, if you guys are ready, let's dive into this issue. We begin with Merlin looking at the door at the Augustus Priory ruins, east of Caledonia. A man with a trench coat on and a dog by a leash walks up to him saying, "Excuse me, friend. This area is closed for the night. You see? Off limits now. You can't be here. Are you lost?" Merlin responds, "Lost? No. I have been to the edge of reality and watched the cosmos shaped into things you don't even have a name for. I've seen newborn gods create worlds from nascent thoughts and contemplate existence while wandering through the hearts of a dying star. I have been farther from this place, from my home, than you can ever imagine. But no, my friend, I am not lost. I am returned." Merlin walks through the door. Now, when he gets through, we get this narration. Inside, he walks through a different, more familiar priory. Its ruined halls returned somehow to their former glory by his magic. It has been so long since he was last here that he has forgotten the very guardians he placed in the halls. They are undone with a mere gesture. For a moment he is amused at how quaint his magic used to be. He continues down into the catacombs, past the buried dead to a set of stairs, ancient, older than everything else in this resurrected place. He can feel the thrumming magic even here, growing closer with each step of his descent. At the bottom of the stairs is a cavern, whose floor is filled with waters from a long-lost lake. In the water stands a stone. In the stone stands a sword. Caliburnus is its name, although it has taken others over time. Watching over the water, the sword in the stone is a girl of ancient Anatolia. Ser Elnara Rastu is her name, and she was to be the 13th Knight, charged with her eternal watch when all she wanted was to go with the others to war. As she hears the echoes of his feet coming down the stairs, she can scarcely believe it. Now we see Merlin. He walks down the stairs, and the woman says, "Merlin, my lord, you have returned." Now we shift to 16 miles east of Magdalena, New Mexico, and Zatanna says, "So, when are you gonna tell me what we're doing here, John?" And Constantine responds, "It's complicated, see? In 17th century Antioch, a Hellenic priest named Euphraxius recorded a series of prophecies he claimed were told by a seraph. He wrote of an archangel who shall, at the end of the moon cycle in the cradle of Magdalena, bestow the gift of heaven to aid in a coming war. Euphraxius was dismissed and the book forgotten, except for a small cult out of Obispo that argues its veracity to this day. Separately, in 1994, Joss Angles, the vocalist of the band, sang an unplanned 8 minutes in ancient Sumerian. Although Joss would later deny any knowledge of her Sumerian interlude, translations say an Earl of Hell shall unto us bring a weapon to strike down false gods. The whole thing was dismissed as a publicity stunt, but hardcore fans still believe that Joss was channeling a fallen one. Ordinarily, I'd say it's a load of porkies, but the time and place in both prophecies, it's this day and this place, a coincidence set 13 centuries apart. I was curious. Zatanna responds, I get it, you can't resist sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Now, Constantine helps Zatanna out of the truck that they arrive in. She continues, "But why are we hitchhiking a pickup that smells like wet dog when I could just magic dust here?" Constantine says, I thought about that, but I reckon we all been a bit rugged up by Diana's departure, and you and I never really had a chance to talk about your father. I reckon even Zatanna, the world's greatest magician, needs a little time in the middle of nowhere, on a dust trail under a sky where you can still see stars." Zatanna looks down and smiles. she starts to grab Constantine's hand, saying, "You keep this up, John. I might even mistake you for a romantic." But then they look down and she says, "John." They see a city burning and a bunch of townspeople running. Zatanna says, "What the hell's going on? You see all these people trying to kill each other." Constantine runs down saying, "Z, quick, a spell to stop them." Zatanna says, John, I can't. I'll explain later. Can you do something?" Now Constantine takes out a watch. He says, "Bollocks, I really like this watch." Constantine throws down the watch with a drip of blood on it, and he just stomps on the watch. You hear a crunch. Now that's when all time stops. Constantine says, "I've stopped time, just for a little bit." Zatanna says, "What's happened here?" Constantine looks up. "Honestly, I have no clue." Now you hear crack-oom in the past. And we get this narration. What John Constantine does not know is that both prophecies were indeed true. The angel, Orpheus, arrived in a predestined bolt of lightning, bringing with him the gift of heaven, followed by the demon Bifrons, who rose from a bottomless sinkhole, carrying the weapon of hell. As the angel and demon went about their task, both set of cultists arrived at the scene, hoping to see their long-held beliefs affirmed. The children of the gift looked upon the angel Orpheus and saw him in his true form. His lights blinded them and infused their souls with heavenly fervor. The Sulfurettes saw at last their long-prophesied demon, and his true visage drove them tiredly mad. And true to form, heaven and hell left the ludicrous humans to their own devices and walked away. There, in blood and fury, amid the broken pain, stood the gift of heaven and the weapon of hell. Yet with all the bearing of a familiar face, we see Jason Blood. He's naked, covered in blood. Constantine walks up to him. Jason Blood?" Jason responds, "Yes, that is my name." Constantine goes up to him saying, "What happened here?" And Jason looks up saying, "I come bearing a task of my own, and a message for you all. We stand at the beginning, from the edge of all reality. Something beyond knowing has returned." We ship back to Merlin, going up to the woman. Now the woman says, "Merlin, is it over? The war? Did we win?" Merlin smiles, saying, "It is over, child, even though ours is a conflict truly eternal. Your part in it has been played." Merlin stabs the woman. She begins to bleed. She says, She falls to the ground bleeding. She's shot. Now Merlin walks away, saying, "Your watch has ended, El Nararastu, and mine has begun." He goes up to claim the sword in the stone. Now the woman falls down, blood going in the water. She is dead. Now Merlin pulls the sword out of the stone. He says, "There is no need for you anymore." Now Merlin crushes the sword into a little gem, and he puts it on his chest. And he says, "I know now the destiny of this mortal realm, and I trust it to mortal hands no longer. I will do at last what I could not all those years ago. I will drag this world towards destiny, kicking and screaming, if I must." Merlin walks away. He will continue his plans soon. And that was your latest story on the Justly Dark, written by Ram V. And yeah, guys, I really enjoyed this, alright? It was the backup story of Justly number 59, and yes, it does focus on Merlin a lot, and that's my favorite part. Before we get to that, though, let's talk about Constantine and Zatanna. I like the relationship here, how Constantine tries to take Zatanna out in the middle of nowhere for them to kind of take like a breather, because they just fought the Upside Down Man. Like, guys, if you haven't seen that story, it's a really great story where they fight off like the other kind, the Upside Down Man. We have Wonder Woman involved. It's a really epic story, but that's over for now. And our heroes, or our characters, our main characters, are trying to deal with the fallouts. But then we see this village just going haywire. It's not going well. A lot of people are trying to kill each other, and then we get the reveal that Jason Blood is there. And Jason Blood knows that something is coming. and he knows that somebody has returned. And that person who has returned is Merlin. I really like the build up to it all. It's very suspenseful, has a lot of tension, and it's very enjoyable to read. Now, Merlin is proving to be a very intimidating villain. Like, guys, he shows up, like, his dialogue is really good, but when he kills one of his followers, this girl who's been kind of guarding like the sword and the stone for a while, was really cool. Now, I was wondering if they're gonna bring up like Excalibur and that whole background, but they didn't actually use that name in this. They just said like sword and the stone, and I actually think that Ram V gave the sword a name that wasn't Excalibur. But still, a cool idea. We get Merlin taking the sword and the stone and condensing it down into like a gem, and that's gonna be like his real power. So that's really cool. And yeah, he killed one of his followers, really just was done with her. He's like, alright, you served your purpose and you are done. I really like that part. It was a great way to end the story, because you're like, wow, Merlin now has the tools he needs to carry out his plan, and you see that he's really a villain because he just killed one of his supporters. So I'm excited to see where this story goes, what Constantine, Zatanna, Jason Blood, and maybe some other Justice League Dark characters will do, and what Merlin has in store for this whole story, or actually really what Ram V has in store for us, alright? And guys, the artwork is amazing. I didn't really know on that because it was just kind of solid throughout. I always pronounce the artist's name wrong. I think it's Zermanico. Tell me if that's right below. If it's wrong, then tell me how it's spelled down below, alright? But I really like the artwork. It fit the tone, and it looked really good in certain scenes, especially the final page. And yeah, guys, I'm gonna give this backup story an 8.5 out of 10. It's solid. I recommend it, especially if you're a Justice League Dark fan, or if you like what Ram V writes. Like, if you read everything that Ram V writes, then read this. Like, he does a great job in everything he does, but this is really one of his standouts, alright? I think it has the potential to be a really amazing story. But yeah, guys, tell me your thoughts on this issue down below. If you like the video, give a big thumbs up. New to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Justice League Dark video. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace out.